Attention, Siam Sport Digital Media Company Limited. This is not your content. Cease immediately. Your fraudulent copyright claim.
When you want to get off the darkest ground,
Assets!
but gravity pulls you straight down. Earth from a bird's eye view. You should grow feathers and see this too. When you want to get off the darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down. When you want to get off the darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down. Clear sky. Where
We're back!
We're back. Woot.
Well, howdy y'all, and welcome back to Movie Night. We are here, and we are live, and we're, I think, ready to go, or about as ready as we are ever. We're actually here on a different night tonight. It's Saturday, for those of you that weren't aware. And for those of you that are, yes, it is Saturday, and I believe this is going to be our new permanent time slot. Saturday nights, 11 p.m. Just
Works
better,
for me.
better scheduling
Oh, yeah.
and everything.
Yeah, I won't interfere with game night.
There you go.
Big hugs to Zmore.
Yes. I'm glad you're here with us, Zmorph, and we also have Chris Durham Music Channel and Chaz Sirius in the chat, so thank you all for coming. I do appreciate that. And with that, let us get to our panel introductions. We have a lovely group of people with us this evening, and we'll start with Brooke.
Well, starting with me, I guess that means we're starting with the worst, but oh well. Yeah, hi, I'm Brooke, and I have a YouTube, and do that here. I'm here on Movie Night. I'm half here, so yeah.
Well, we're glad to have you here with us. Thank you for coming to be on our panel this evening. And we also have Purple. Purple rhymes with orange.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
I think I managed through, but I'm only doing shots of cough syrup tonight.
Well, you know, I mean, I guess that's some type of... Isn't there some kind of alcohol in cough syrup?
There used to be, but people got all uppity about giving it to their kids, and they took all the alcohol out of all the stuff.
Oh, my goodness. Well, at least you're here with us, and we appreciate that.
Although
Thank
they
you so
still
much.
card me for trying to buy it.
Oh, dear. Well, you know, it's always something, at least. We also have with us tonight Tornado. Hello, Tornado.
This episode powered by Coca-Cola, interestingly enough.
Yeah, I don't think Coke or Pepsi will ever sponsor us, but we're glad you're here with us tonight, Tornado. Yeah, Darren Marsh says they took the heroin out as well.
But seriously, I'm ready for the stupid, and I've got a cold bottle of soda right next to me. As always, caffeinated, because as always, teetotaler. I know, it's practically mental suicide, but what can I say? I'm a masochist. I like to
Right.
be lucid through the stupid.
Well, we're glad you're here with us, Tornado. We also, lastly, have Bionic Dance with us tonight.
Yeah, I can't help noticing you didn't say, but not least. Oh, well. Hi, everybody. Unlike Tornado, I have Red Bull in front of me, watermelon
go.
flavored even. And I'm mostly doing that because my weed vape is empty. Hashtag someone fund my pot habit. But other than that, no, things are decent, I suppose. I'm awake enough to do the show at least.
Well, that's good. We're glad you're here with us this evening as well. So, with that, I suppose we should bring up our thingamabob. Wheel. Yeah,
Wheel?
that's what you call it. Wheel. Words elude me
Wheel of
tonight.
Misfortune.
So, strikingly, I do have a very important question now. You have
Yes.
thingamabobs. Do you have dinglehoppers as well?
I have
Oh,
I have
God.
plenty, but who cares?
The thing to remember is that the scientific term is actually Thingamaroberts.
Ah, there you go. Yeah, we wouldn't want
I-
to use the not correct term.
I have to object because it is actually only a virtual spinner, so your wheel is fake.
Well, you know, that's what the show's all about. Fake things.
Welcome to movie night, where the wheel is fake and the videos don't matter.
Well, we have on our wheel tonight, we have trails and torpedoes. We have meteorologist, we have pseudo, we have hotel, and we have supernatural. So it looks like
Wait. Well, sorry, did you say there were tornadoes on the wheel? What am
No.
I doing on there?
torpedoes.
Still, what am I doing on there?
Not quite a tornado. But, well, I think we should probably spin it. What do you guys think?
I think we should see if he lives up to his name and throw him in a junkyard until he assembles a plane.
There you
Oh,
go.
very funny.
All right, well, let's spin our wheel.
Wheel of Misfortune. Turn, turn, turn. Show us the stupid that we should burn. Spin it! Do 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 do. Oh, here it comes, here it comes. Let's see what we land on.
Torpedoes.
Auga, auga, dive,
All
dive,
right.
dive.
Let's see here.
Damn
You
the
know,
torpedoes
they
in full
could-
speed ahead!
They could be photon torpedoes. We don't know. We were talking Trek in the green room.
And there you
No,
go.
here's what you gotta do. I don't think anybody will get this reference. If they do, I'll be surprised. Let's just hope the torpedo doesn't sink a truck.
Sink a truck?
Yeah, I don't think I get
Operation
that reference.
Petticoat, Operation
no,
Petticoat, Cary Grant, and Tony Curtis.
No.
All right.
Torpedo
let's see.
sunk a lot of things around truck.
Yeah.
The
No,
battleship
they-
Yamato is now a coral reef.
The thing is, basically, they end up firing the torpedoes at one point, and it misses the target, goes up on land, and hits the truck, and the truck explodes.
Okay, that's reminding me of something I saw once where someone launched like a shoulder mounted missile and it misses the target, goes through a window into a house, out the window on the other side of the house, into
Oh
a
my
field,
goodness.
hits a sheep. Like just blows up a sheep out of nowhere.
Huh.
So, yeah. I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't remember what that was. Oh, well.
All right. Let's see here. Let me make sure we're all good. Okay. We're almost set here. I'm just getting our video up.
I mean,
There.
imagine we were talking movies on movie night.
I know, right?
Yeah, I should have watched
Okay.
The Day After Tomorrow today.
All right.
It's kind of funny that besides Tornado, I am probably the youngest person on the panel, and yet I'm using an old school Cary Grant 1940s reference.
All right, we got our lovely video up here, and let's see what this one's called. So this one is Japanese Japanese torpedoes never worked on globe Earth. Anybody has a guess as to who this one could be from?
Level Earth Observer.
Ooh, close guess, Tornado, but not quite.
Bucket World.
Nope, also not it.
You know,
And
they would
that
have been
is
better
why
off
we
if they said
connive.
the American torpedoes, because, yeah, the Mark 14 torpedoes the American subs had failed like 85% of the time.
Oh, jeez. Well, this one is by Mr. Thrive and Survive.
Oh, God. Him again.
Oh, not Lion Can I?
Oh, yeah.
I got him and Bucket World mixed up because I was like,
Yeah.
it's like one of those that use the animation BS.
Right.
Incidentally, that imagery right there looks weirdly familiar. Is that from like an Atari or C64 game?
That's possible. I'm not sure. We also just had
the circles do have that very pixelated outline of an 8-bit game.
Yeah.
Well, that, and I'm looking at the ship, and that looks like old school 80s video game art.
We also
I would agree.
we also had RJ pop in just now. So hello,
Yep,
RJ.
yep.
Oh, hey, RJ.
Oh,
So we're
RJ,
looking
RJ,
at some
RJ.
battleship there.
RJ, run
Yeah.
now. You still have time to save yourself.
Yeah.
It's too late for us.
We got torpedoes.
I have in my hand a book.
That's not a book, it's a novel.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Evolution Slam Dunk, and I have it in
I've
my
heard of
hand.
that.
Yeah, I think I've heard of that book before.
Yeah.
It's a little book.
It's a little tiny little book. It makes a great doorstop. It can probably give you a concussion if you hit a creationist over the head with it.
Right.
Yeah.
More of a concussion if they read it.
And I hear it's also barely poorly sourced with like 100 pages.
Oh,
I mean-
yes,
I mean,
yes. It's
well
very
sourced.
it's very pathetic. It's only a few thousand sources. Yeah, I know. It's
Yeah.
just slim.
Yeah, I'm looking at the number of references you have here. It's like a quarter of the fucking book.
We do try to document things. Oh, and Brooke, I've only got 4 chapters to go to finish off the second Paralogs novel.
Okay, I will let my friend know that, and they will be very excited. I just will need a release date for them, and
Yeah.
either that or if it's around their birthday.
The Helios
Listen.
is about to be destroyed.
Okay. If it's around their birthday, I might try and just not tell them when it is, and then surprise it with them for like a present or something. But
Yeah.
I will let you know their response. And
Oh, have you
You know, any
seen
critique?
the new David Tennant Around the World in 80 Days yet?
no, I haven't.
Oh, it's
They might
actually
have.
quite clever. It
They
has
might have.
almost
I'll
no
have to
connection
ask.
to the original book, but it's quite a nice little series.
All right, well, let's get into our video, shall we?
Oh, threat!
We were trying to stall. I promise.
RJ, we landed on the torpedoes one, and this one is called Japanese Torpedoes Never Worked on Globe Earth, and this is by Mr. Thrive and Survive.
Bullshit.
So I think we should get into it and see what he's got to say.
Yeah, right.
All right, here we go, everybody.
Drink.
Drink.
Yeah, that's definitely not a destroyer.
Tornado.
How dare you? How fucking dare you?
Yeah, it's
No,
Mr. Thrive and Survive.
Survive. Fuck you. You don't get to do this. You don't get to make the Japanese look stupid by basically butchering their language like that. You now owe everyone on the Japanese home islands a most sincere apology.
Yeah, I don't think.
Hell, I think he owes Tojo an apology.
Yeah.
Admiral Hirohito is pissed off at you.
Let's see here. Where'd my window go? There we go. Brooke.
Pretty much along the same lines as Tornado there for racism.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not surprised with who it is, but yeah.
I'm
Can we
looking
just skip
forward to
this
the
bit,
science
please?
of where they connect the dots as to why a torpedo would
Oh.
somehow eliminate a spherical Earth.
I thought it was just that the spherical Earth made the torpedoes not work because they were designed to work on a spherical Earth, but then like the Earth is flat according to this fella, so somehow the computations were off. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm betting it has something to do with that the guidance systems won't work with curvature.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got.
Yeah, right.
All right.
We're picking up the sound of an enemy torpedo, sir. 17 miles, sir, from that cruiser. That Japanese cruiser. Sound the general alarm.
His poor animations here.
Okay, I think I can see where this is going already.
Status.
Yeah.
She's still coming dead at us, sir.
He's going to have a problem with that submarines move in three-dimensional space, not just along the surface.
Yeah.
I think the captain's Peter J. Pete's Fuzz.
sir.
I must say, I'm blown
she's
away by
surfaced.
the quality
She's
of the
no longer a
animation.
threat.
Yeah.
They didn't take into consideration.
Yeah.
Yes, Tornado.
Torpedoes don't do that. You know why? Because, and this is important, they are affected by gravity, you fucking retard! Oh, and more importantly, you're not going to deploy a torpedo with a 17-mile... You're not going to deploy a torpedo with a 17-mile gap between you and your target.
Yeah.
Ever.
Let's fire the torpedo over the horizon.
Yeah. Nobody in their right mind would ever fire a torpedo when they're 17 miles out from target.
What a stickler for detail you are. I mean,
why,
gosh.
yes. I am.
He's completely right. In World War II, a torpedo only had an effective range of maybe 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why they had to be within eye shot, basically, to figure out where they were going to aim it at.
Yeah,
Right.
and not only that, but he's also forgetting that torpedoes, if you're like any further out than, say, like what Purple said, 1,000 yards, by the time the torpedoes are at your target, it's already going to have moved, because no ship in their right mind would come to a dead stop and let a torpedo just hit them.
I thought the idea, though, when they launch a torpedo was to do a whole bunch of calculations to intercept rather than to just shoot it where it is and hope it stays still.
Right.
Exactly. They fire it to where the ship is going to be.
Well, that's why they would usually fire several torpedoes in a spread at different angles, so that no matter which direction the ship turned, at least one of them should hit.
Now, I mean, obviously in World War II, this wasn't nearly as possible, but I mean, I suppose you could launch a torpedo from that far out if it had a secondary drive for final maneuvers when it got closer.
Oh yeah, the modern submarines can do that, but not the ones from the 40s.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say something here, because I do have something on this that I did look it up, and I guess my drain call wasn't heard. I did call it on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no,
I didn't hear you. Yeah, the 17-mile range, that is actually inaccurate, but the torpedo they're showing from a surface ship to another vessel did have a bit of a longer range than the 1,000 or so meters that we were talking about with a sub one. The submarines, because I looked this up, and the quick Google search I had was the range between them was anywhere between 600 to 2,500 yards from a submarine.
Which is not very big in comparison to the size of the Earth.
But the Mark 15, which was a torpedo from surface launch vessels, so like a ship, as they're showing there, and this was a U.S. one, not a Japanese one. So I'm even being credit here. This was the largest one I could find. Had a maximum range of 14,000 meters, aka about 8 miles. Actually, I did the calculations. 8.6991967 miles.
Yeah, maximum size is the key word here. The torpedoes on the cruisers were typically 3 to 4 times the size of the ones on the subs.
Yeah. So as far as what they're showing, it's still double that distance. But it would be. But it's if you said it was like 7 miles, you would at least be somewhat in accurate range. But yeah, it's either way, the range is total BS. So yeah, I looked up before I called drink on that. So
Mr. Flive and Survive.
I don't know. What I took from that was that it's the biggest torpedo you've ever seen.
Yeah. Well, we also had RJ with the hand up. We'll go over to RJ.
Yeah. I was just kind of coming in late on this and not realizing that we had hit the torpedoes first. Damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead. I had thought that the flat earther nutballs had pretty much run out of things to argue. So I really have to give them a hand for a face palm on actually managing to mangle something fresh.
Yeah. I mean, generally, most of the flat earth garbage is, rehashed, but this one is a slightly newer one, so
I mean,
Yeah.
Are we going to have like an analysis of why double entry bookkeeping proves a flat Earth or something? I mean, is there any limit?
RJ?
Well, I mean, just out of nowhere, I funked one up. Like, what if they said, okay, flowers and trees grow upward, so clearly the Earth is flat because if it was curved and spinning, they'd be bent slightly, from the momentum. I could totally see someone arguing that. It'd be stupid, but I can see it.
Bionic. I've seen that.
You
I've seen
have?
someone argue that.
And I thought I was being original. Oh, wow.
This is why it's not easy to find a
Darren Marsh
genuinely
brought up a good
originally
point.
stupid argument.
Yeah.
Darren Marsh brought up a good point. Torpedoes have depth holding mechanisms.
Right.
So, Mr. Thrive and Survive, you're making claims about torpedoes that just aren't true. You're making claims about torpedo range that just aren't true. And, of course, you're claiming that torpedoes can't work, therefore Earth is flat, which is also not true.
He would
I'm
never
shocked,
make things up.
to hear that a flat Earther would be misrepresenting data.
Right.
But to be fair, this guy clearly watched The Hunt for Red October and Silent Running. So, I mean,
well,
he did his own research, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, they should have stayed away from warships, though, because the battleship Graf Spee owed its managing to get to port from the Cordelia effect. Having trouble with words.
That's all right.
And not to...
You mean?
Yeah, because the British gunners forgot that when they got into the southern hemisphere, they had to adjust for the spin being the opposite direction.
Oh, and Sean Carroll also points out the most common range was 800 to 2,500 yards during World War II for American fired.
Yeah,
that doesn't seem very long. I mean, especially the 800. Compare that to, say, football fields, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically, it's not the distance that torpedoes would normally be fired at is not this range.
Yeah.
And it's completely inaccurate towards any torpedo range whatsoever, even modern-day torpedoes. More importantly, torpedoes have depth-holding mechanisms, so they're not just going to, shoot on out of the water. It's basically the planes have to nose down argument all over again, just with torpedoes in water.
You should have like a logo that could run across as a crawl across an awful lot of the flat Earth arguments saying hilariously not to scale.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we're done with this video. Spin the wheel again.
Yeah, we basically just debunked the entire video.
Well, who knows? I mean, maybe he's going to say something we don't expect. Come on.
Right.
Yeah, it could be a sudden pile-up of science.
All right.
I did have one thing to say on this whole video. Is actually proven wrong because he wants to say that the Japanese torpedoes do not work on a globe, yet we live on a globe, and I do seem to recall using basically surface torpedoes that the Japanese dropped from planes, which then hit our battleships in Pearl Harbor. And I seem to recall that event happening, so...
All right, well, let's continue our video and see if we can get to his point here, because we haven't even gotten that far.
He will have a point?
Let's see here what he's got to say.
I hope you enjoyed that little comedic demonstration, but what you saw there is actually pretty much true. You see, in the 1930s, the Japanese Navy revolutionized the torpedo with its Type 93, a 30-foot long, 3-ton monster whose extraordinary range, up to 25 miles, earned it the U.S. nickname Long Lance.
Okay,
it was a surface-launched torpedo, fitted for the tubes of cruisers and destroyers. In other words, it was launched from wherever the draft was of each one. Now,
yes, Tornado.
Citation needed.
Yeah.
And more importantly, again, depth holding mechanisms.
And also, I would point out on there is those words "up to." It didn't mean that that's what you fire it at. I can shoot a rifle that has an effective range up to 1,200 yards, but guess what? I ain't gonna shoot a deer at 1,200 yards.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah, and 25 miles just, I mean, it seems like a Hail Mary, basically.
Yeah,
well, this is
you're
saying
desperate.
1933. In 1933, I'm not even sure the ships could detect each other from 25 miles away.
Yeah, well, and Mandelbrot set, before we got to this part of the video, Mandelbrot set had brought up this torpedo in the chat. This is the one that he referenced in chat. So, it is a thing. It is, I think, there are actual citations out there, but yeah.
Well, wait a minute. I'm a little curious. I mean, it looks like we're not actually talking about submarines. They've said surface launched enough, and the depiction was ships. Can we really not see a ship from 25 miles away?
I mean,
By the way, come on. A long-range gun on a ship, a battleship, could fire 20, 30 miles.
Not what someone said. I forget who it was. I think it was. I think it was
I was a bit out of
Purple.
line on that. Right.
The question was, or the thing that was said was, can they even detect each other?
Yeah.
And
Okay.
so
I said that, and I retract it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's. I mean, if you
bot hunting. Oh, and Japanese had no radar bionic dance from Sean Carroll.
Yes, but I was saying visually, could you not see one with like binoculars or some crap?
Okay, I'm gonna join in the bot hunting.
And I'm gonna say this, and if I'm wrong, the chat never will correct me. I know, but usually if you're gonna fire something that long range, it is like you guys said, a Hail Mary shot. And one that I can think of what you might use it on a historical event would be the Bismarck, which basically, if you got within sight of that thing, it sunk you. So you had to fire a well ways out, and it was a long shot to get it.
Yeah, and Mandelbrot says. Mandelbrot says the Type 93 was for surface ships only. It was dangerous to the ship that carried it, also.
Yeah.
Oh, and more importantly, Sean Carroll also says torpedoes are more effective at knife fighting range, sight striking. Thrive and survive. Lion Connive is basically forgetting his entire history. Lion Connive is basically forgetting his history at war.
Right. Well.
And I do want to apologize if I got something wrong on my statement with the Bismarck.
Okay.
I'm not the strongest with World War II history, but I do know we had to take it out from a range.
Well, we've got a couple of hands up. Let's take a look. Tornado, you still had your hand up?
Sorry.
And then we got Bionic Dance with the hand up.
Yeah, now, like we were talking about 25 miles and all of that, and sure, you might not want to launch that at a ship that can move, but I also know that there were fixed sea platforms. I mean, heck, I don't know if you've heard of the Principality of Sealand, but basically a bunch of guys like took over this old World War II sea fortress that's just in international waters, and like there were several of those, and I imagine if you wanted to hit something without being shot at yourself, you could launch a torpedo at a stationary target from 25 miles away with a reasonable expectation of hitting it.
Yeah, makes sense.
Even dock ships.
And we also had RJ with the hand up.
Yeah, I'm just looking up this Long Lance torpedo, and a war museum says that its advantage was that it had a gyroscope that provided stability and a reference direction for guiding the torpedo during its run. So in order for this to have any relevance to his argument, he's going to have to show somehow that gyroscopes can't work on a globe Earth.
Right.
And we already know that they can because of, what was it? 15 degree per hour drift.
Yes.
Thanks, Bob.
Exactly. All right.
And I imagine your typical torpedo is not in the water for like an hour.
Right.
Mom NATO says hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Mom NATO.
We also had Purple with the hand up.
Yeah, well, okay, working backwards from, starting with what RJ just said about it, how long it would be in the water, that Darren Marsh in the side chat was just saying that Yeah, from that range, it would take the torpedo like 13 minutes to get to the target.
Yeah, we're on moving.
So yeah, on a moving target, not very good. Bionic Dance had a valid point that there was a famous concrete fortress that was guarding one of the entrances to the Philippines that the Japanese had to take out. So yeah, there were some instances where they would be firing at stationary targets.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And I just looked up the average speed of a torpedo during World War II was 57.5 miles per hour.
So it would take nearly well, never mind. It doesn't matter.
You know that if anything is going 50 miles an hour, that means the world is flat.
All right. Well, let's continue on and see what else he's got here.
Cruiser was generally about 20-25 feet under the water, so it was probably launched at about 15 feet under the water, and it was expected to go up to 25 miles to hit its target. It was quite advanced, actually. It used oxygen, and the oxygen bubbles would dissipate, so for these long ranges, it couldn't be spotted by aircraft or things like that because the oxygen bubbles would dissipate right away, so you couldn't see the wake of the torpedo.
Your point is?
What you're looking at right now is one of the cruisers that was fitted for these torpedoes. Again, cruisers and destroyers were both fitted for these new torpedoes.
And your point is?
That were they actually invented it in the late
the ammo space,
1920s, early 1930s.
Magazines.
And they outfitted these torpedoes just in time for World War II. So, again, if you look at the Earth curve calculator, let's give them the whole 25 feet underwater. And you had to hit a distance, well, in this case we used 17 miles. Let's take a look at that, how it would actually work. Remember, the range on these torpedoes was 25 miles. We're just going to use...
Yes, Tornado?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. You're going to use this to claim that torpedoes have to nose down. I just know it. And the issue here for you is, Mr. Lion Connive, that torpedoes have various means of controlling themselves. They're not fire and forget. Okay, some of them might be fire and forget, but they have depth holding mechanisms.
Right. Brooke, you had your hand up?
Yes, I just was looking this up again. I'm curious, and I'm finding out way more about torpedoes and World War II ship vessels than I ever thought I would in one night. But his claim of the torpedo tubes were actually under the water when fired from the destroyers or battleships or whatever they were firing from the surface to water missiles or torpedoes, what you want to call them, is wrong.
False?
Is false. I just did a quick Google search, and it's showing me that it appears that it's about 21 inches above the water when they fire, so they shoot out and actually drop in and then fire from that range.
Yeah, Sean Carroll was just pointing that out in the side chat.
Oh, I missed it. I don't have the side chat up. So, okay, I got beat to it. Okay, my Google skills are not as quick as his knowledge.
So, Lion Connive just lied again.
Yep.
Jeez,
and as Mark Bismarck says, because the torpedoes had neutral buoyancy, they would run at a set depth the entire way.
Which, of course, relies on gravity to, deal with that. So, Mr. Lion Connive, gravity screws you over again.
And RJ, you had your hand up?
Yeah. The picture here inadvertently is a gigantic problem, besides the fact that it's not to scale. That once you recognize the torpedo is designed to go at a fixed depth, like the depth it's going to need to do to hit the hull of a ship, is he imagining that at some point a curved earth is going to cause it to leap out of the water and shoot over the ship? Is that his model?
Yes.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think that's what he's about to say, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm afraid that's not going to work, and is obviously not going to work based on the fact that the torpedo doesn't do that, and the curvature of the earth is greatly exaggerated here, so poo!
Right.
Yeah.
RJ?
Yeah.
RJ, are you trying to expect him to actually use logic, facts, reason,
Have I suddenly become totally deranged? Of course not. I
Yes.
expect them to do exactly what we see here, which is suffer from cranial blockage of the rectum, well lubricated by shit.
Pretty much.
Well, this video has been particularly difficult for me simply because I've read so many like sci-fi novels about space naval combat, and my brain is trying to translate all of this into that format.
Well,
and I'm like,
remember, as
no,
Mr.
no,
Spock
no, no,
said,
no, this isn't happening in space. This is not Honor Harrington. Stop it, Kate.
Khan thinks two-dimensionally, so this guy thinks zero-dimensionally.
Right.
And remember, Spock always said, "May the Force be with you, Harry."
And beyond.
Again, on the thing that flat earthers do not have a concept of scale, let us remember that 25 miles is roughly 1/1000th the diameter of the Earth.
I think I might have made the nerds angry with that last comment.
And yes, RJ?
I want to put in a final comment on this as a delaying tactic, but I think it will be beneficial to hear it. The fact is that I just did an analysis about Star Wars versus Doctor Who versus Star Trek as to how much content they have. You'll be happy to know that Star Trek blows out of the water the poor pathetic little Star Wars. Star Trek has over almost 800 hours of content versus only like 150 for Star Wars.
Yeah, quantity
And,
doesn't
Doctor
mean
Who pulls
quality.
in at about 500.
Exactly. RJ, I could have 500 pounds of dog crap, and I could have this flat Earth video, and okay, that's a bad example for the size comparison.
Yeah.
For content.
Oh boy. Well, I think we should carry on.
Yeah,
we should
as
probably,
as much as we love delaying, I suppose
Yes.
we have to get to the rest of it.
Indeed.
We should probably go with the rule that we have to let the video run a full minute and then come back with the comments.
Yeah.
Well, if they say something particularly egregious.
Yeah.
Let's
see how we go.
17
think
miles.
pretty
Even if it was launched from the very bottom of the boat, I believe somewhere between 6 and 7 miles would actually be the actual range on the globe before the torpedo would surface. And in World War II, torpedoes made no corrections. Once they were fired, hopefully they ran straight and hot and normal. And there was no issues, because if there was no correction on the torpedo itself. Once it fired, it had its direction that it was moving in. That was it. It didn't correct
no
for depth.
correction on his
Didn't
video.
correct for anything else. Once it was gone, it was gone.
Yes, Tornado.
As we've said before, this is basically asked and answered, and basically, yeah, I called it. It's basically the planes don't nose down argument, just with torpedoes in the ocean.
Yeah, he's not getting that there's a difference between torpedoes and rockets.
I actually don't know, what kind of guidance systems at all, if any, these torpedoes have. And I'm sure today they're loaded up with computers, but back then, did they have any way to guide themselves after being fired?
Devices. They were guidance. Remember, they're aiming at a ship that moves slower than the torpedo does.
Of
So you
course.
can presumably calculate where the giant 400-foot, 500-foot, 600-foot long battleship is going to be, and anticipate where it will be when the torpedo gets there. That's what the skill is about.
Well, I mean,
and it only needs to steer straight.
Well, I joked about it before, but most of my experience with torpedoes comes from watching The Hunt for Red October. So I'm literally saying right now that I don't know enough to comment.
Yeah,
but I wish I could.
Actually steer and home in on
In
their
World
material.
War II, basically,
Well, yeah,
the
that's
guidance
why I
system
was
a couple
asking
of
about
gyroscopes
guidance
to make sure it kept going straight.
Did they, at this point, maybe though, in this time frame that the Type 93 was used, was there
He's talking
things
about
on
a
it?
torpedo that was in service in 1933.
Right. Was there?
And basically saw military effects according to the history, and they're in the 42, 43, 44 period. They were relying on that and their ability to aim. The Americans tried to compensate for it with their radar techniques to be able to detect ships and other things, but it wasn't very good at that point. So for a while, it was quite a depressing thing. In the same way that anti-aircraft was extremely difficult until they developed a proximity fuse, in which case, holy moly, the entire equation changed.
Right. Now, did they at this time in the 30s or whatever, did they have some kind of control or mechanism on them to control depth?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I mean, in fact, that was one of the tricks about with Pearl Harbor, was the devising a torpedo that could come in and fix itself at an extremely shallow depth so that it could attack Pearl Harbor successfully. And they were developing that at the time of Pearl Harbor. They resolved that problem.
Aha. Interesting. Yeah, that I didn't know. I was...
Gee,
Yeah.
it's almost
Sorry for the intrusion of history.
I know.
Into the
Actual
atmosphere,
knowledge.
So I can't help myself.
Mandelbrot
RJ?
even offered a citation to the hydrostat on the torpedoes that kept them running at a set depth.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, I see.
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I
Thank
was
you.
like,
I'm
Yeah, you don't
assuming that
want-
was variable, that you could change
aiming
it
was in
when
some
you fire.
respects a less important
Yeah.
problem than keeping it at depth. You want it because if you can go in the right direction. Remember, you have no supersonic boats. That ship is traveling at about 25 knots, so you can anticipate where it's going to go unless it takes evasive maneuvers. And if you're firing into a flotilla, the odds that it might slam into a ship somewhere in that bunch, even if it doesn't hit the original target, is another factor that has into account, depending on the density of the ships. It all depends on the context. Which one of the persons writing a report on it, I noticed online, said it depended on when it was used and against what as to how effective it was. And meanwhile, none of this proves his point about the curvature of the Earth.
Well, weird question. How did these torpedoes actually detonate? I mean, unless they had some way of detecting, hey, we're closing in on the target, they must have had something on the front or inside that could
they
detect
were inward
impact.
in the same way that a mine has a thing for a physical impact. Some of them could have magnetic features that would tell when. That was another reason that the British developed a way of basically degaussing a ship so that magnetic torpedoes wouldn't be able to notice it, or magnetic mines wouldn't notice it. And there was a whole technology that was being developed on there. None of which, of course, hey, let's say the magnetic degaussing proves that the Earth is flat. I mean, you might as well.
But it
Yeah,
was
I was like-
purely an impact sort of thing, and there's
Yeah, I think
no other.
most of them were, but I think there may have been some torpedoes, and torpedo experts could weigh in about how much it was going to whether or not proximity torpedoes that would be able to detect when they were close to the ship and then home in on them. That was a feature I think that was developed after the war, but a torpedo expert can go into that.
Yeah, most of the torpedoes, from my knowledge of, and again, World War II is not my strong suit, so I could easily be wrong, but from my understanding and reading, most of the torpedoes were impact warheads. That was what, like 90% of them were.
Yeah, I know.
Basically-
The fixed mines had a magnetic, had a metallic proximity thing. So if you got too close to them, you could be in terrible trouble.
Yeah, that was
But
the
that's why
mines-
they demagnetized the ships, so that they would be able to just slide right past them without any problem.
Yeah, I knew we had the magnetic mines that basically trigger when a ship got near it. But I was like, I think torpedoes themselves were mostly impact. Basically,
And by
hit
the
it,
way,
punched,
let's
and
not
blew.
forget depth charges, that there were a whole bunch of weapons designed to detonate at particular depths. Obviously, weapons, they had worked out how to figure out how deep something is.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, I think we got enough knowledge in there.
Yeah, that'll get us stored up for the next few minutes of the thing, which will suck all knowledge from our brains.
Right.
Also, I wanted to comment on something Simeon, I assume that's how it's pronounced, said in the chat. Mark 21 used passive acoustic homing, and then
It's
Purple
Cernian.
said you might have to explain that. I'm guessing it's something sonar based. I mean, acoustic is what makes me think of that. That it was like hanging ahead of itself or something.
It could actually have a sound system that's bouncing off. See, more than just the Americans worked out. There were every one of the major powers was investigating both radar kinds of things and acoustic detection for underwater. I mean, this was all part of the thing. How far they could go with it, and the fact that they really didn't have what we would need today, which was much more sophisticated electronics and information processing to take a signal and convert it into something that would tell you where something is reliably. And that was something they were all working out during that period.
I bet our modern torpedoes just use GPS, for crying out loud.
Yeah, and remember,
Also-
GPS can't work on a globe Earth.
Also, Bionic Dance, it's pronounced Cernian.
Ugh. Oh, that looks like an M. The font is so small. Okay.
All right. Well, let us continue on here and see what else he's got.
Come on, science. I'm rooting for you.
He's going to get to the science here soon, I'm sure. He must. So let's take a look.
And there was no more control over it. We have our handy-dandy Earth curve calculator. And guess what? We don't have to worry about refraction, do we? Unless maybe the torpedo adjusts for refraction. Anyway, eye height is 0 because we're actually below the water. The target distance from the surface is 17
the boat
miles.
is roughly the size of
And
Greenland.
let's see if I can zoom in on this. So we start at the top of the Earth. Here's the target on the globe, 17 miles away. And it is, what was the number up here? 192.72 feet below where the torpedo started. So not only would the torpedo have to run straight, hot, and normal, it would actually have to dig deep.
I have a question. He says it's below where the torpedo started, but it's not really below. It's just... What's the word?
No.
He thinks torpedoes leap out of the water like dolphins.
No, I called it. It's the planes argument.
Right.
Yeah, it's exactly the same thing, except he forgets that there's a problem because unlike aircraft that theoretically can go up and down, uppity up, downly down, in the air relatively easily, the whole point of the torpedo is to stay within an extremely narrow range, aka shallow enough that it will slam into the boat that you want, which is why the wakes of the torpedoes were visible on the surface precisely for that reason.
Right.
See, and I'm just having this great mental image of torpedoes leaping out of the water like dolphins, or skipping like stones. That would just be so much fun to see. It really would.
Song, the magnificent torpedoes, the magnificent flat Earth torpedoes. They go uppity up. They go down.
Well, and unlike an airplane, torpedoes wouldn't tilt like downward or upward or anything like that. No. I would imagine they would stay level
against the surface of the water, their depth.
That makes sense.
There's a lot of them.
Schnook.
Yeah.
Let me look something out because I want to check this before I say this. Torpedoes are not my strong suit. I'll fully admit it.
Mm-hmm.
I
Well,
think we
against
already
the flat
torpedoed
earther,
his
where
arguments,
everything
though,
is not
so
their strong suit.
Yeah.
let's carry on.
Yeah, let's see what else we got here. We're almost finished.
Into the water.
Yay!
Well, almost is a relative term, but about a minute and a half left.
Yay!
Deeper and deeper and deeper as it went, so to speak. It would have to angle down the whole way so it could get to its target. And so here we have it. Again, we're going to start from the right place. They want to start you at the left side for whatever reason and have the hump come up to you. And but here we go.
No.
The torpedo launches.
Her
And
splash!
we'll give them, again, the whole 20-25 feet.
So torpedoes aren't
And
affected
you have
by
to become an
gravity.
airborne
Here
missile.
it takes off
And
in
it was filmed.
air!
Drinkity, drink.
Yeah.
Airborne torpedoes!
Yeah, I mean, I like torpedoes would be affected by gravity the same way the ships are, wouldn't they? I mean, if you fired the torpedo and the ship it's going towards is down below the horizon like that, bullshit. But if it was,
if you're
Right.
I mean, wouldn't that torpedo
gravity,
go down the same way that like relatively down the same way that ship did?
Yeah, torpedoes have neutral buoyancy in water, not in air.
Well, whether they had neutral buoyancy or not, they'll still be
Yeah.
affected by frickin' gravity.
Yep,
Well, and does he expect
that's
the
what I
ship
mean.
to do
They
the
weigh a
same
little
thing?
too much to fly.
Like, would the ship just keep going on that line and jump out of the water as well? Like, I don't understand.
You'd think.
The thing is,
Apparently,
I called this before. I called this before he even got to his point.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Thrive and Survive, you failed. If you're trying to convince us that the Earth is flat, you failed horribly because this was exactly the same as the planes argument.
Right.
And in the Battle of Leyte Gulf, the Japanese lost because their 500 Lance torpedoes shot off into the air and flew off to Hawaii.
No. What they did was they left the water and said so long and thanks for all the fish.
Right. And
dear,
Brooke,
dear,
you had your
dear.
hand up?
Yeah, I was looking it up on the Mark 14, again, the most common torpedo we, the Americans, used. And basically, due to the type of explosive head that the warhead that it used, it actually gave the Mark 14 a positive buoyancy, which basically kept it at the surface. So, yeah, his whole point about it, oh, it won't go there, it won't float or anything, or basically would go flying above it. Won't How does it stay at that depth? Because it was designed to do that.
Right. Oh dear. Well, I mean, he's still got like a good minute left here. I'm sure he's gonna explain how this
Hand up.
is
Yeah,
possible.
Hand's still
sure.
up.
Drink.
Yes. Next hand up we got is Bionic Dance.
Yeah, so, I mean, the thing about his argument that I also have a problem with a lot of the religious stuff I used to debunk is that even if he's right, his argument is just that bad. Like, this doesn't disprove anything. It just proves he's an idiot. Like a credulous moron. I mean, like, I don't agree that the Earth is flat, but for all we know, like, if the matter was unsettled, he just made a really shitty case. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, that makes sense. I agree. All right. Let's see here if we let's see if we can finish it up. I mean, we've only got about a minute left, so let's see if we can get through it, and then we'll get to any
Compressed
points.
Science.
Feet.
And Tornado, put your hand
minus
down.
the height of the
Thank you.
destroyer
I know you
itself,
have
in this
something more
case,
important to
let's
do
say
with
it's,
that hot
80
hand.
feet. So it still missed about 110 feet roughly. Another impossibility on the globe. Nobody ever adjusted for it. Nobody still adjusts for Earth curvature and weapons. They never will. And if they do, they drop it right away because it doesn't work. Thank you.
Drink.
Yeah, drink's been called.
Yeah.
God.
We had a minute left, but it looks like it's all just ad shit after that.
God.
All right. Well, first we had
Gosh, that was
I believe
stupid.
it was Brooke first, and then Bionic
Yes.
Dance.
Well, first off, no one ever figures or factors in curvature when firing any weapons. Well, I would love for him to tell any of the snipers that, or anybody who shoots long distance range shots, that. And also, as far as the torpedo goes, yeah, we already covered that. They had stuff set in to keep them buoyant at the top of the water, so that way they would make sure they hit the freaking hull.
Right. Bionic Dance.
All right, let's suppose he's right. Let's suppose he's 100% right about everything. Okay, the ocean is extraordinarily deep. If you fired that torpedo at a downward angle, it could still hit your freaking target.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, I'm just saying, fire it deeper until eventually. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I agree. Tornado.
Seriously, this guy basically lied his ass off about torpedoes in every way, shape, and form.
Yeah.
And then he proceeded to use the same stupid planes argument for torpedoes. It didn't work then, and it doesn't work now.
Shocker,
Fuck you,
I know.
Lion Connive.
That and not to, and we can't forget this lovely drawing here where he thinks that torpedoes are light enough to fly out of the water, and the weight of the torpedo alone
Well, they look
would
kind of like
force it down
Hindenburg
into the water.
airships. Maybe
Yeah.
they are.
Yeah, the particular torpedo he was talking about weighed nearly 6,000 pounds.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Wonder how much each torpedo cost. I mean, I hear stories about like, oh, this fighter plane launched a missile and each missile was $1 million. I'm just wondering how much these torpedoes cost. It's not that it's not important in any way. It's
Right.
just a random thought.
Yeah.
You know.
Definitely an interesting thought. I don't know offhand, of course, but that is an interesting thought. Well,
Probably more than $1 and less than $1 million.
that was
Here,
a lovely
probably.
video.
I have the answer. In 1931, the Mark 14 torpedo cost about $10,000, or equivalent to $170,000 in money of
Thank you.
2020.
Jeepers.
Yeah, so it was a bit more expensive than a car.
A
Yeah.
little bit.
All right. Well,
War is expensive.
let's bring up our wheel here now that we've gotten rid of that one.
Yeah.
And let's see, what do we got left
Let
over?
us know if there's any more from that
Wheel of
person because they
misfortune. Turn,
shouldn't.
turn,
Hold
turn.
on. We're not ready yet. No, we don't have any more Mr. Thrive and Survive. I've only got one from each person on the wheel this week. We have
Yeah,
trails.
it's always best to keep it that way.
Yeah. We have trails, we have meteorologist, we have pseudo, we have hotel, and we have supernatural. So yes, if you'd like Tornado, we can now spin our wheel.
Wheel of misfortune. Turn, turn, turn. Show us the stupid that we should burn. Spin it.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Wow, that one.
Blang, 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 blang.
All right, we got trails.
Big money, no whammies.
Yeah, we always get a whammy. Every option is a whammy.
I was about ready to say, Bionic, did you look at the wheel?
I know. And hell, that game show isn't even a wheel. So
I know. All right, so we got trails. Now let's see which one that is here. We've got let me bring up my thingy.
The Happy Trail.
Oh yes, this one. So this one is by a creator who now goes by the name Iron Horse. Does anybody know who that is?
Nope.
This is the rebrand of Flat Earth Aussie Jesus.
Oh no!
Yeah, he now goes by Iron Horse.
Okay, I got a couple drink calls already.
And this one is
back end of it.
Drink on you for putting this on the wheel. 2, drink on whoever the hell suggests this.
Me.
And 3, so drink on everyone, pretty much. I'm sure I said that. And also, drink because I guarantee it's chemtrails, and I guarantee they don't know the difference between contrail and chemtrails.
well, yeah, I mean, nobody ever does. But this one, yeah, this is from Flat Earth Aussie Jesus. This was one I found and put on the wheel. And, yeah, this one is called Chemtrails in Perspective.
Well, of course, the way we know that they're lying to you is because they're contrails.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'll just
What
be
about
over
pro
here.
trails?
Oh my goodness. All right, bear with me one moment. We'll get our video pulled up. Of course, this one is
John Deere tractor.
in portrait mode because, I wouldn't expect any less.
Drink on the portrait mode. All right, how high can we get this drink counter?
Yeah.
It starts.
A vertical video is an abomination and must be destroyed.
Yeah, agreed.
And of course, drink on Flat Earth Aussie Cletus.
Yeah. He's something, all right.
Yeah, I'm gonna get my science counter activated.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't want you to miss out on your science.
And
Put in fresh AA batteries. I'm ready.
and Cernian says, FEAJ is one of the dullest knives in the drawer. Cannot cut butter.
Yeah. I mean, it's not wrong. All right. Well, what do you guys think? Should we get started and see what he's got here?
How long is this video?
This one's just under 3 minutes.
Let's go for it.
All right.
Sai, no,
Yes.
I vote no, because you said, do we want to go for it? No, we don't.
Well, you don't
Better avoid
actually
it.
get a choice.
Oh. Why didn't anyone tell me I was joining the military here?
All right. Well, let's see here what we got. And here we go.
Look at that. That's
Okay, you know what? Drink.
not only a chemtrail.
Yes.
So this dangerous ass chemtrail. Hey, I know. Let me stand directly under the bastard.
Yeah. Pretty much. Let's see here. There we go. All right. I'm just getting all my windows pulled back up. I had to move things around a little bit. Okay, there we go. Brooke, you had your hand up?
pretty much what Bionic Dan said of, hey, there's this dangerous thing up there. Let's all stare at it.
Yeah.
I have other points that I think he's going to address in this, but I'm going to wait and see if he does.
Well, let's take a look. We'll see what Purple has first. You got your hand up, Purple?
Yeah, that's basically the thing that debunks the whole chemtrail thing to begin with, is that, the elites or whoever it is that is spraying these chemicals on everybody, how are they not getting contaminated by the same chemicals? So it's a pretty stupid thing.
Oh, I know exactly how. They're all part of the mask conspiracy that came up with the pandemic, and so that's anyway. I'll just be over
Okay,
here.
I'm relieved because I
Bionic
thought you were
ants.
going to say they're not affected because they're reptilians.
I was actually getting ready to say that, Purple. It's because
Yeah.
they're reptilians, so they're immune to it. And I have literally heard someone argue that once.
Yeah, I don't
No
doubt
lie.
it. Unfortunately, I don't doubt it.
Yeah, that's a sad part.
Okay, moving on.
Yeah, let's see what else we got here.
That's how you do it in perspective. I'll take the copyright material off.
Oh, he's got a roof. That's how he's protected.
Can't look at that. Look at that. Straight up until he gets overhead.
Oh, I am terrified,
This is
quivering
both a
in fear.
Perspective lesson and a chemtrail lesson.
Drink.
Oh, he has a sleeping pill.
Yeah. Yes,
Hey.
Tornado?
You notice what color that thing is? It's white. Notice what color the clouds are? Also white.
You're not going to make some deductions from that,
Yeah,
are you?
but
Is it just
dandruff is
me, or
white. What's the
there
point?
Is it just me, or do planes emit some sort of particles as they fly through the air? Particles which might allow for
Possible.
water to condense and freeze into crystals. Kind of like a cloud? I know, it seems like a stretch. I'm
Yeah.
just basing it off 200 years of solid evidence.
That's
Right.
just what they want you to think.
Yeah. I think they're marzipan.
Brooke, you had your
Prove
hand
me
up?
wrong.
Yeah, I mean, you can call this pre-bunking if you want, and I'll stop if you want me to, but based on his perspective argument of let's look at perspective, okay, well, let's look at it. I'm assuming that plane has hit its cruising altitude and has been flying at that height for quite some time. The perspective that we see is that it looks like it's coming straight up from the ground and then going to that height. But that's not the case. It's been flying at that height. So almost like the Earth is what? What's that G word that I can never remember? Oh, yeah. Globe.
Yeah, that's one of
Well,
them tricky
I mean-
words.
It's hard to hear him, but it sounded like he was saying the plane was going straight up.
Oh, my God. Then, okay,
Well,
then my dream
if the
call was
torpedoes
accurate,
can
and he's
do
an
it,
idiot.
Oh dear. Well, let's continue on here.
Well, now that he's straight up above us.
He did say it.
Oh, he's no longer going upwards, is he?
No, he's cruising out to be an idiot.
Because look, I'm trying to find some shade
You can
here.
clearly
It's
see the
freaking
perspective
hot.
right the fuck there.
Now I look the other
Yeah.
way. Now, you can watch him.
how puzzling the world must be to this fellow.
Apparently,
Ooh, looks like a space cloud is moving across.
doing
Yeah.
what all French fighter pilots do.
And then all the very
Down in
diffuse chemtrails that fill the sky. And there's a
Green.
green chemtrail on the ground where
Glare
they're
is so
crystallized
hot.
into plant life.
Yeah. Yes, Brooke?
Yeah, he just called that a fighter jet. It's too high to tell, and passenger jets produce those as well. So pretty sure
Suppose
that
he couldn't
probably,
take like a telescope or something to allow him to do an observation. Would that be asking too much of him?
yeah, that's asking a little too much there,
I
RJ.
suppose,
And
yeah,
because
right.
we can't tell at that height, it's too far away, it's too small for us to see and to determine exactly what that is.
And phones definitely don't have a zoom mode.
Yeah, that would be asking
So-
too much.
So yeah, governmental conspiracy trying to kill all flat earthers,
Yeah.
right? Maybe. I
Something
mean,
like that. And
why-
also a conspiracy of the lens makers.
and two, I don't know where he's at, but are there any military bases near him where a fighter jet? Reason why a fighter jet might be in the air? I mean, I see military planes around where I live. That's only because there's a National Guard air base.
Right.
I know, we do the
Right
same thing
near
here
me.
in Spokane.
Righty and Bionic Dance, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I'm just hoping someone can remind me of something because it's been literally years, maybe a decade, since I've heard someone who talks about chemtrails actually say what they're supposed to be doing to us. What is the danger of a chemtrail? Just refresh me.
I know. I can answer it.
Yes.
Basically, they're dropping all these poisons and metals on us, which are trying to kill us off and make us dumber.
And in their case, are working.
Yeah.
Oh, and as Alex Jones once put it, they're putting chemicals in the water to turn the freaking frogs gay.
But to what end? I mean, they're making us dumber, what, just to keep us from rising up against them?
Yeah.
Your guess is
Your
as good
guess
as mine.
is as good as mine.
Yep, you're on it.
Oh,
Well,
and
the
there's
other
another
thing
one.
I'd heard is that they're blaming the declining birth rate of white people on them.
Oh, jeepers.
Oh, not just white people. I've seen it that basically it's designed to make you infertile, and basically, the reason why, birth rates are declining in a lot of places are in industrialized nations are because of this, not because of the fact that we're in industrialized nations and don't need to have 10 kids to try and keep 3 alive.
Hey, Intel. Think about it.
I mean, the only thing I could think if they're trying to make birth rates decline is that someone in the Illuminati has decided that we're overpopulated, so they have to do something because they can't trust us to not fuck.
Pretty much exactly what they argue.
Okay.
Well, and along the same lines that they're making people gay.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's the thing is I have to say thank
if it
you.
wasn't for the chemtrails.
I have to say
Worse than
thank
making
you.
you
I mean,
gay
being straight
frog.
sounds miserable. No offense to anyone who is, but I'm glad I'm not. Anyway, I'll just be over here.
Right. And then isn't it recently it's been that the chemtrails are them attempting to vaccinate people?
Oh,
I haven't
darn.
heard that one, but it wouldn't put it past them.
I thought I had heard from one of these lunatics that it was the vaccine being spread through the air.
I've heard the one of them supposedly trying to put it in a salad and
Oh my goodness.
basically kill us that way. There's some bullshit like that, but
Why?
I haven't heard
Salad.
the I don't know. That's what they said.
What are they trying to kill off all the vegans?
Right.
And
Yeah.
again, to what end?
But
Do they just want people that like meat?
I
I
mean,
don't know what it. Well, the way they figured it was not just salad, but in plants in general. So that way it gets into the meat as well. So that way, no matter what you eat, you get back to it. It was absolute woohoo
so
out off
okay.
of left field.
Wait a minute. I mean, maybe it's just me, but it seems like if they're going to do chemtrails like that, they might as well do something where everyone who gets on a passenger plane, like all of those air blowers are blowing whatever the chemtrail chemicals are onto us. Like we get a little sweaty on the plane, we turn that little nozzly thing up in the ceiling, and the next thing you know, you can't have kids, right?
Yeah, that would seem a simpler way of doing it. Yeah.
You'd think. I mean,
Well,
just about
that's-
everybody flies.
Or just put him into like Taco Bell or something.
There you go. Actually, I did have like a couple of weird ideas for how to mess with people, like putting these chemicals in the stuff on envelopes that you have to lick, that kind of thing. Or if there's any kind of chemical that doesn't have a safety seal, like if there's a company that still doesn't put safety seals on their toothpaste, or they don't have a safety seal on kitty litter, and if there's any that aren't dust free, I mean, there's so many delivery methods for horrible chemicals. And very few of them would leave like a residue in the air for everyone to start waking out about.
Well, as far as the not ever having kids, I don't gotta worry about that. I've kind of ruined those chances.
Right. Well, I think we should continue on. Go ahead. Sorry, Purple.
It's one of the general problems with conspiracies is these people who are brilliant enough to puppet the whole world from behind the scenes are also somehow incompetent enough that anybody who can do a Google search can pull it apart.
Right.
Well, and if they like one of these conspiracy theory type nut bars is smart enough to figure it out, then how come they're not a member of this Illuminati? How come they haven't hatched their own evil plan? Is it just lack of funds?
Or you're forgetting, or basically why haven't, if the Illuminati is supposed to be as powerful and evil and corrupt as they claim it is, why are they still alive? What do they think they do? They're hiding well
apparently
enough?
they can't track them down and send like a hitman or just bring a jet engine and spew a bunch of chemtrails into their house.
Yeah.
Well, everybody's anonymous on the internet.
Right.
So, I mean, like, if you think that you can hide in the woods somewhere and live off the grid, you don't think that the Illuminati is as powerful as they are, that they can't track you? Yeah, no, sorry.
Well, everyone has a social security number. They got you on the grid.
Interconnected network of people with like smartphones that have chips in them that would allow them to be able to track them and work. And every time they were trying to navigate with their things, they could do that. But then again, that can't work because of relativity that doesn't work, and the Earth is not a globe. So never mind.
That, and nowadays you can't go completely off the grid. You're gonna need something that will leave a paper trail, and it's physically almost impossible to do
you
that.
get off the grid by not taking that little grill thing, that little metal cross thing. Don't sit on that, see? Then
well, they're also, they're clearly tracking us through our clothing. I mean, after all, fiber optics, huh?
Yeah, can't you see the fibers? I can.
How come I'm already hearing nutballs going that they're putting trackers in the clothing now? I can hear that conspiracy.
It wouldn't shock me.
I think Kate's onto something. Does this mean that if I go out naked, no one can see me?
Well, I have rollerbladed naked in parades, and a lot of people saw me, so.
The problem is it's getting very difficult to generate actual flapdoodle because the professional flapdoodlers just seem to be able to do it. You can't upstage them. You can't outdo them with stupid.
Yeah, you can't make a parody about someone who parodies themselves.
Yeah, exactly. Who's already exceeded. I mean, somebody who thinks that like rock formations are actually either Noah's Ark or the remnants of giants. I mean, what can you do?
Hey, RJ, you leave Roger out of this.
Yeah.
Well, I think we should continue on. We've stalled long enough.
Oh, damn. You're seeing through our clever tricks.
Yes.
No.
Striking, no.
If you continue on, we wind up watching more videos.
Yes, that's true.
I don't know why you're saying that we're stalling. We are not Russian.
Oh dear. All right. Well, let's see here. We'll go a little bit more of his video here.
Let's see. Trying to turn his chemtrails off now, is he?
He's turning his chemtrails off.
You see, it gives the appearance of flying down.
Does anyone else even see the chemtrail anymore?
There we go, it's through the clouds.
He has
They're going to
special
call
glasses.
that the wispy clouds.
Oh, now he zooms in.
Oh, and look where it's going. It's going towards the
I'm watching
horizon.
this happen all day today. 20th of December 2021.
Ooh, he can give us chronological
Spraying the
information.
motherfucking
Wow.
Shit out of us.
So his
Hey.
whole point is
Factory in
that
the
the
weather.
plane is
So you
far
can
enough
see.
that you can't
Disappeared
see.
there, but that ain't disappeared there, is it?
Oh, it's almost like that. It's a contrail and the ice
One
has
of the hottest days of the
dissipated.
year.
No, it's just
Ice
dissipated into the
got
atmosphere to
yeah,
infect
right.
us all.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers.
It's just dispersed now.
They all get heart attacks and die.
Oh my goodness.
Jeepers.
Oh dear.
I'll send you the bill for the brain surgeon to replace those brain cells I lost.
Yeah.
He'll never get back.
Yeah.
Yes.
No.
Yeah, again, no concept of scale. Let's keep the numbers simple. Let's say that the plane carries 600 gallons of whatever chemical
Right.
and it flies 600 miles. And what kind of concentration do you have with 1 gallon per mile?
Well, and here's another question. I mean, if they're really trying to infect us like that, and there really are crop dusting planes out there that do stuff to food, I mean, why do this thing where it's way up in the air where everyone can see it? Why not just crop dust the food with the chemicals and make everyone eat it?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it would be way more effective, and not to mention if you're gonna try and douse people, putting it that high up is not very effective. You're gonna want to do it. You're gonna want to do it more in a crop dusting style. You want to get
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Well, if you really want to poison people or whatever, get them to take in chemicals, the easiest way for them to do it would be to put it into city water supplies.
I was just getting ready to say, or hit the water supply because, yeah, everybody's got to do it. And if you do chemicals because it seep through the skin, well, we got to wash our hands, take showers. Yeah.
Yeah, nobody can go very long without drinking water in some form.
Right.
And you'd think that, like, all of Seattle would have declining birth rates because every year the Blue Angels do a demonstration at Seafair. And if anyone's going to be releasing chemicals, it'll be fighter jets from the military, right?
Oh, but
Right?
the Space Needle absorbs it. That's where the spaceship is docked.
Of course, of course.
The
Oh,
space
You gotta
needle,
think
of
like
course.
somebody who doesn't think much.
Oh boy. Well, what do you guys think? Should we bring up our wheel again and pick another
Absolutely.
Yes.
beautiful
The
video?
momentum's kicked in. I got the energy.
Let's go for the gusto.
Yeah.
Spin it.
All
What have we
right.
got left?
Here we go. We got meteorologist, pseudo, hotel, and supernatural.
Oh,
so let's-
pseudo could be anything in this
It
context.
could. It could.
Yeah.
That's the
You know, I
point.
Hotels
really
could be
hope that
those.
there's like some schmuck out there who thinks meteorology is about meteors. I really hope that person exists.
I guarantee there's probably someone who does.
All right. Well, let's spin our wheel then, shall we?
Sure.
All right. Whee!
Did Tornado fall asleep? No. Oh, it's not the one I submitted.
It is.
Okay, well, actually,
Yeah.
Bionic, I have to ask you something real quick.
Yeah?
On your meteorology one. Are you looking for an adult or a child? 'Cause
Oh,
I'll
an
admit, when
adult,
I was-
of course.
oh, okay,
Someone who
okay.
is competent to understand what it
Okay,
really
okay.
means, but
I was like,
chooses
because I
not to.
remember when I was like 5 or so, I thought meteorology was the study of meteors.
well,
Right.
sure, but you're 5. I mean,
Yeah,
God.
that's why I was like, specify how you want that, because I was like, I can
Yeah.
read any like first grade classroom and say there's probably someone in there, but what adult might be a little harder to find for you.
Well, I'm talking about someone who has no excuse.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's why a rock that fell from space is going to have a lot more protein than one on Earth, because it's a little meteor.
Oh my goodness. So this
Really?
one is called
Yes, and gluten free.
This one is called 5 People with Supernatural Powers Caught on Camera.
Now, I haven't watched the whole thing, but there's one that I saw that was actually kind of cool. Anyway.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
In China, CCTV cameras captured a very peculiar occasion. In this video, we see how the truck moves at high speed, and then all of a sudden a cyclist pops up. It looks like they're about to crush. But then something really weird happens. At the very last moment, some man in a hood appears from nowhere. He grabs the cyclist and teleports him to a safe distance. Truck driver rushed out to see what happened and is very confused about what he just saw.
Wait a minute. Okay.
And this looks
Drink.
Yes, Brooke.
like maybe fake.
I mean, not gonna lie, this looks like film from a low budget superhero movie, like a ripoff.
Right.
I mean,
I think we need more provenance on this.
Yeah. Tornado.
Because
you
the
had your hand
close-up
up?
images looked a lot like computer animation.
Right.
Yeah.
They look very stiff figures. And
Tornado.
of course, it only has to go for just a fraction of a second.
Sorry. I was muted. This seriously looks like something I'd see out of a superhero movie.
Right.
that's what I said.
A
but
not
yeah.
terribly entertaining superhero movie.
Yeah, it really
I
struck
call
me that
bullshit.
the cycle was at a higher resolution than the truck was.
Mm-hmm.
Super crosswalk guy.
So
It
what
doesn't
you're
pass the smell test.
so Purple, are you trying to say that you think the footages might have been overlaid like you do when making a film?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Possibly.
What a
Bionic
suspicious
Dance.
bunch we are.
Well, there were a couple of things that bothered me about this one. I mean, number one, in a scenario like this, how does that cyclist not see the
Yeah.
truck coming? But number two, what the hell was up with the back of the bike? It looked like it had like a skunk tail on the back of it. I did not understand what that was.
I think I might be able to answer that based on how it looked. To me, what I thought it was is it looked like it might have been like one of those rickshaw like taxi bikes. Where
Oh,
you
sure,
would-
okay.
Yeah, I
it
thought
looked
he
like
might
it
have
was
had
like-
some kind of a trailer or something.
Yeah, so that's what I thought it looked like. So I could have maybe misidentified it, but that's what I assumed it looked like.
And also, like when the Flash shows up and takes him to the other side of the street, there, it didn't look like there was a bicycle anymore. For all the world, it looked like a hospital gurney.
Yeah, I was wondering about that too.
I'm glad
That
I
why
the
was
only
there
one
a
who
gurney
thought
there
that.
with no ambulance?
Right. Well, let's continue on, shall we?
Ooh, and music. Oh yeah, we're looking at him end on now, and now he's taking out the hot dog that he wanted.
This video was shot in Thailand. The young lady
This
is
is the one
having
I
an
thought was
argument
really
with some
cool.
man right in the middle of the street. When things got out of control, the girl uses some telekinetic powers to slam the man against the wall and then throw him up. The crowd starts to scream and panic. The girl doesn't seem to enjoy her destructive powers either.
Drink.
Yes, Tornado.
I'm beginning to think this is some promotional gimmick. This has got to be a promotional stunt for a film.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the last time I'd seen something like this was a promotional stunt for a modern release of the movie Carrie.
Right.
Okay, let's at least see the video first.
Yeah.
Okay, well, one thing
Yes.
like that struck me when I was watching this. Watch her arms; they look impossibly long at times. Maybe it's just the angle, maybe it's just her outfit, but they don't look normal to me.
Well, let's take a look.
Um, hold on, can you run that back like 5 seconds?
Definitely a promotional gimmick.
Just so when she picks him up, supposedly. Right there. Okay, I saw it. It was quick on the first one. I want to make sure I was seeing that right. Did you see that when he flew back, the tag of like where his shirt was pulled? Almost like there were wires and pulleys somewhere?
Yeah. I mean, quite possibly staged.
At least that's what it looked like to me. It looked like
Right.
his shirt pulled, like he was pulled back.
It is kind of annoying that this thing looks weirdly compressed too, so we can't really see like high res.
That could have also possibly been a video artifact too that I'm mistaking, but I thought it looked like that his shirt. Now the one who got lifted, I thought I saw the shirt move, but I couldn't really tell with all the heads in the way.
Right.
Which would be a very, very good thing to have if you're trying to fake that.
Yeah.
To have it block.
Tornado, you had your hand up?
Like I said, I think this is some promotional gimmick for a film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Need
probably.
provenance for these things.
Yeah,
Right.
just the way the guy fell. Just the way that guy fell.
Yeah.
Can you rewind it again?
Yeah.
Just the way he fell.
The crowd starts to scream.
Yeah, pause. It just... They're clearly acting.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree. But let's continue on and see what else we got. Maybe we'll actually get some supernatural powers here.
Don't hold your breath. If someone could do that, they would panic and run.
Right.
I don't know. I'm not so sure.
This video was shot on security cameras in the parking lot. As the man moves towards his car, it feels like something just passed by with an incredible speed. The driver seems shocked because the alarm went down on all the vehicles simultaneously.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
The following
those
clip
were
was
not
shot in
car
Hong
lights.
Kong.
Drink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, those lights, the lens flare and everything, that the bloom effect, that was added in post clearly.
Yeah.
Like these are like I mean, I'm an amateur on this. I don't know really that much when it comes to like videos and photography and film and everything, but these are hokey as hell. And I can tell you.
Yeah.
It sounds like we're a little bit suspicious about the provenance of these videos.
A little bit, just a tad.
This is all...
These are like movies made by college students.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's see what else we got here. I'm sure we're gonna get to something
so
truly
hokey.
supernatural.
Drink on you.
The following clip was shot in Hong Kong. Even though this guy doesn't look like Clark Kent, there are certain similarities. During an interview, we see how some guy walks down the street, and then all of a sudden his hands start glowing, his palms emit throbbing bright light. When he realizes that the camera is pointed at him, he decides to disappear right in front of a moving bus.
Great.
That is added in post. That is post.
Also looks like a movie.
Yeah.
Hi, Joe. Oh, that is so fucking hokey.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen a lot of supernatural things from that guy from Central City that runs around in the red suited high speed.
Yeah. Dear. Brooke, you had your hand up first there?
Yeah, I had it up at the beginning. I guess my Greek call wasn't heard. I really need my headset mic. I don't know where it's at. But yeah, he said, Clark Kent and Superman with glowing hands. I'm sorry, that is. If you're gonna go anyone, at least in the DC realm, there's a lot that could be used elsewhere. There's two that come to mind. Flash when he's using the Speed Force, and two is Black Vulcan.
Right.
Static Shock.
I said DC.
Mark Beiser says, "Is that a clip from a JM Truth movie?" Yeah, I agree with you, Mark Beiser.
Okay, I thought Static Shock was Marvel. My bad.
And Tornado.
Yeah, just the way that guy disappeared in front of the bus, it's so fucking hokey.
Yeah. Agreed. And
why would he jump in front of a moving vehicle to disappear?
Right.
That just seems awfully silly. But the thing that struck me was how the person with the camera just happened to be pointing at this guy in a hoodie whose hands just happened to glow out of nowhere for seemingly no reason. And then I couldn't help but noticing that when the dude started running away, the camera operator had the presence of mind to chase him.
Yeah.
Ooh, like he's tracking where he's going to be for the optical shot.
Imagine.
Oh, dear.
Okay, I'm beginning to get a sense that we're very suspicious of this video.
Yeah.
Tornado, did you still have your hand up? Because I thought of another point. So I don't want to interrupt you. Okay.
Yes, Brooke.
My other point was, thinking about it, did anybody notice anything suspicious about the bus?
Yeah. Rewind that.
It never stopped. It never slowed down. It just kept going, almost like there wasn't anything there, because
was real,
I guarantee
and the guy is
the bus driver would have seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no reaction at all. You're right. I mean, if nothing else, jamming on the brakes, much less turning and skidding. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And in fact, let's take a look to see whether
actually,
or not
he
that's
didn't
not
disappear. He just got plastered to the grill of the bus and was dropped on the pavement half a mile later when the bus finally stopped.
I mean, it also looks like he ran past it rather than like directly in front of it to get hit.
And it might even be a digital bus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or it might be a digital guy.
Or it's an overlay and they cut the first film layer.
So what would be kind of fun is to look at what science fiction films that were done in the Far East, these things were nicked from, and they were presuming that no one would ever know about it because they're far too obscure.
Right.
Because if they were done in the native language, they're not going to be made typically available. A lot of the stuff, it was on DVDs, might not even be playable on a European machine, and so.
Yeah, that was the feeling I had with the one with the girl, that it was like, you know, some low budget ripoff of X-Men.
Well, there's a way to figure out that sort of thing. I mean, take a screenshot, do a Google image search, maybe something will pop up, you know. And I mean, even if the thing with the girl wasn't necessarily like a ripoff of X-Men, it could have been like, I mean, because there have been some really bad, hey, look, we're making Star Wars movies that came out of like India and the Far East. And it could easily just be she's discovering her Sith powers for the first time. Only, or what was it, Thailand style? I don't know.
Right.
Now, if it were Indian, at least we get a Bollywood number in the middle of it.
Anyway, are we going to go back to the video?
Mandelbot said the video of the girl with the palm powers is on a Persian site.
Good to know. All right. Well, let's continue on here. I think we've got another one here. We should.
I'm sure we'll get to science.
Oh, hold on. I
thought that was
turn the
on
volume
the
back
same video.
Yeah.
You fucked something up, Si.
Yeah, the video's not visible anymore.
Oh, isn't that sad?
It's just there. It hasn't gone anywhere. We just got to the next one.
This video, the woman in the hood uses her powers to get something from the top shelf.
Ooh,
Next thing she does is she uses her powers to move the cart by making a simple gesture with her arm.
So all of these people have force powers.
I have powers that can take things off of the shelf.
Oh my gosh, this music! I know this music from. This is Monty Python music!
Okay, that is hokey as hell.
Yeah.
That is all kinds of hokey.
Or if it's not Monty Python music, it
What
sure
are we
sounds like
seeing?
it.
Somebody who's taking a
Video
panning
of the
shot.
security, yeah.
Right. And so they're wandering around, and then they come back across to here.
Oh my goodness.
Ooh, and she
drink?
knows how to
It's
divert
hokey. That is so
a
hokey.
shopping
Yeah.
cart. I have powers that could be used for vast, great things, and I do stuff in grocery stores.
Yeah, if you're trying to show us something, why don't you fix on one image long enough
Right.
instead of jumping around all these different cameras?
Well, that would make it easier to see that it doesn't mean anything.
And significantly less exciting.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, it
and-
was
and
so
like,
exciting
Who's
already.
typing?
Me.
Yeah, I think the only thing he showed there is that you got a shopping cart that has a bum wheel and won't roll straight. We've never seen
Well-
that before.
And
Well, either
yeah,
that
so
or
what-
my
sorry, to
Sorry, go
what
ahead.
was being said in the chat, and I said it before, it did sound like Holy Grail, but it's not. I actually Shazammed it, and it's Black and White by Max Serta, whoever the hell that is.
Yeah, that I don't know. Brooke, you had your hand up?
yeah, it's a little coincidental that I know those aren't like the best quality security cameras,
Mhm.
but oddly enough, you get the jump, the static jump, the moment that cart turns, almost like you're trying to hide a wire.
Yeah. Yeah, funny how that works, isn't it?
I'm sure I'm just overthinking this.
Yeah, I mean, that was my
Well-
first thought when he said that, with the quick move of her arm, she was able to move the cart was, well, funny. That would, act like that if there was some sort of wire attached.
Yeah.
It's so fucking hokey. I don't buy it.
Very.
Yeah. I don't think anybody should buy that.
I wouldn't buy that for $1.
No. All right.
I will not buy this tobacconist. It is scratched.
Well, that was the last one in that set anyway.
Wow, that was so exciting. My heart could hardly stand it.
Yeah.
I was terrified at every moment. Boo-hoo.
Again, your acting needs work.
Clearly. Oh dear. All right. Well, I think it's about time that we wrap up for the evening. We'll get to some of our other videos next
It's
week.
on that level of pulse
Yeah.
racing excitement. Now I'll never be able to look at a wobbly grocery cart with the same thing, looking around. Who has accidentally moved it?
Right.
Ooh.
This is why I always take those hand baskets instead of the cart.
Yeah.
yeah. Unless one floats away from you.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
true.
I mean, actually, though, it is a little worrisome with the hand basket, though, because, well, you tend to go to hell in those.
Hey, you just beat me to that one. I was about ready to pounce on it. You
Anyway,
bastard.
I'm heading off, guys.
Good night,
See ya.
Tornado. All
Night,
right.
Tornado.
Well,
Good
with
night,
that,
honey.
everybody, we are going to wrap
Hell's
up
all
for
where
the.
fun is.
We are going to wrap up for the evening. Thank you all for coming out. Yes, please, anybody, don't forget, if you do want to reach out to me for to be on the panel, please do so. We would love to have you on. Anybody that does wish to be on, by all means, please reach out and we'll get you set up here. And
Become a member of the Pirate Kitties gang.
yes.
One of us. One of us.
One of us.
And then we're also, we're going to stick with Saturdays from now on for our time. We're going to stick Saturdays at 11 p.m. Eastern. So thank you all for coming out tonight. I do appreciate you all. And thank you, panel.
Yep.
So with that,
So
everybody.
everybody in the side chat, please inform everyone of the day change so that we get the
Yes.
whole audience in here.
Absolutely. Alrighty. Well,
And,
go ahead, Brooke.
I was going to say, and as a warning of coming onto the panel and being on the panel, we cannot be held responsible for any brain damage, any
Yeah.
brain cells dying that you may experience while being on here. We do have to
Or
give
holes
that
in your
legal
monitor.
waiver.
Well, that's okay. I haven't had brain cells since 1987.
Yeah, there you go.
And just keep an eye out for those torpedoes flying at you from the air.
Yeah.
All right. Well, everybody say goodnight, panel.
Good night, panel.
Panel.
Don't accept any wooden penguins.
Hey, you're